in this rhetoric that is much more effective. And I think everybody has in their head, there's anything is better than George Bush going on in their minds, and he's going to do some things in the very near future that are going to be devastating for the world and especially for the Islamic community.
Yes, let's look at this, okay? First of all, from a psychological viewpoint, okay? I believe he is a sociopath.
Yep.
And that means he has no conscience. He will say and do anything to gain power. Now, Barack Obama, I'm going to speculate here, but I believe it's going to be very close to the truth. If you had a mother, okay, a white mother, and she had sex and relations and maybe did not even get married to a black man from Africa, and then that man abandoned you at the age of 2 and went back to Africa where he had multiple wives in Kenya, would you love your father or would you hate him? I propose.
Well, the abandonment issue would certainly be cause for. I mean, if your father, this is one of the problems with the black community in general, is that the society in the United States has driven black men out of homes, ruined the family, and what ends up happening is young men that are growing up in these black community homes do hate their fathers and do have a very strange relationship with their masculinity as a result of having no father figure. And you're exactly right that there is probably some pathology of Barack Obama as a result of being abandoned by a father who should have been there to raise him as is his responsibility, but wasn't. And I think you're probably not wrong, Tex.
That's right. And his mother was very much a Marxist New Age hippie, all right, who believed in socialist revolution. And to show her revolutionary, rebellious attitude, that's why she went to Indonesia, married in Indonesia. I'm not saying any of these are wrong. I'm just saying that this is the kind of thing that stirs up in a young man like Obama certain kinds of feelings. Now, we know from his past that he very much is a Marxist socialist. Now
let's go into where Marxism comes from. I mean, this is an important part of
yes.
Because, you know, the government in South Africa, in the audience that's predominant in this broadcast, they have turned over their social structure to a socialist communist approach in many ways. And what we know about socialism and communism is that is a Jewish-inspired, Jewish-designed, Jewish-invented way of raping and destroying individual freedom and liberty around the globe. And so basically this man is just a puppet for people who want to steal people's freedom.
Oh, absolutely. And he and look at what look how he has acted. Now, you're right about his being a socialist Marxist. You know, he read the book by Saul Alinsky, A Jew Rules for Radicals. He went to universities that really are managed, supervised, and run by Jewish Zionists. I'm talking about Harvard and Columbia.
Yeah.
These are basically Jewish-controlled universities, and the professors are generally Marxist Jews at those universities. So this is his training. This is from his mother up to his. I understand his grandmother who recently died, who was a white woman. He has been inculcated with this Jewish Marxism.
Yes, he has.
And so everything about him is Marxist, socialist, Jewish, Zionism.
Right.
But being a black man or half black, he had a problem. How can you become famous? How can you be elected to high office in the United States as a black man? Well, you must be a black man, okay? And so he went to Chicago, even though he's really more white than he is black in his culture. Okay? He really has no black culture. He went to white, Caucasian, highly affluent schools all the way through high school. I mean, all of his classmates were all mostly white, some Hawaiian, Asian, but mostly they were white. He was raised by white grandparents. All of his friends were white. Then he went to white universities, really Jewish-run universities in Columbia and Harvard. Everything about
let me ask you this,
Caucasian.
Now, let me ask you this, though. I mean, because, the issue, what I have shared on CII broadcasts is that I am a man who wants to choose people based upon their character and based upon their actions as opposed to their color. But what we have in America is with this push toward calling everybody a Latino American or an Arab American or a black American, African American. What it does is it forces our thinking into our race or into our ethnic origins, and what they end up doing is pitting one against the other, and they force us into these fights that shouldn't ever exist. What we should find is that this community and that community should get along based upon good people or bad people instead of the race of someone. But that's not what we end up with. And the black community doesn't see that Barack Obama is not going to be the person they think he is. They are going to get sold out first by him.
That's what I wanted. Exactly. You're echoing exactly my thoughts on this. What he did, though, he's very much a pragmatist. He's really in a way, he's a political genius, as was Lenin and Trotsky before him.
Yes.
He's very much a Marxist political genius. Now, his genius was to understand that he had to gain a foothold in the political realm. He first had to be a black man. Now, I agree with you. This is a very sad thing. But first of all, he had to go to Chicago, a black city, basically, okay, and go to the black areas there. And he had to pal around. He had to join a black church. It was a large church because you don't do any good politically if you have a small church. He became a state legislator from a black district. He got approval of black leaders. He was a black community organizer. He even made friends with the black Muslims. All right?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. So including Farrakhan.
In every way, he was a white person pretending to be black so that he could gain a foothold, and he did. Now,
he did, yes.
What I want people to understand is this: Chicago. If you want to look at the dominant forces in Chicago, here they are. Okay, there's the black community, which is really not that powerful.
They're not powerful. Okay? No, they're just not numerous.
That's right. The Jesse Jacksons, all of them, very poor. They have some political organizing pull, but not much. But the real force in Chicago is the Jews.
That's right.
Now, if you want to, you can go all the way back to the days of Al Capone, the gangster, and you will find out in Sam Giancana and all of those Italian mafia. Now, all of them had Jewish bosses.
Jewish masters, the Brofman family making Seagrams for Capone, and then the Pritzner family and the Crown family making bootlegging, and then of course they moved into prostitution and drugs, and they inflicted that on the black community. They've always used the black communities as a way of raising money from illicit drugs and illicit prostitution, and they have been raped and destroyed the black community rather than being lifted up. And here comes this man. He's a fraud. He's a false savior for these people. And yet, Tex, I want you to maybe address this. Many people are talking about him in religious terms. It couldn't be more stomach turning for me to see that this fraud, this hypocrite, this lying sociopath, as you've correctly observed, is nothing more than a sellout of his own race and of the people that he has claimed to support. But this goes back a long way, as you just said. I mean, the University of Chicago, which sets the doctrine for the city of Chicago, are run by people like Strauss, the Straussian people, which actually is